Hello everybody, my name is Marlo and today I'm going to be showing you how you can improve your bedrooms in Minecraft with these 5 simple decorations. The 5 decorations in question are a bunk bed, a single bed, a corner study, a set of drawers and also a wardrobe. I'm also going to show you a couple of others that are on the really small and simple side of things. We're going to start off with the corner study, so of course come to the corner of your room and place in 2 bookshelves just like that. We're then going to place in 2 more to the left hand side with a backwards facing loom on top. Then we're going to go to the bottom here on the left and place in another backwards facing loom with 2 more bookshelves. Then we're going to come over to the right hand side here, leave a gap of 2 and place in a beehive. If you don't have access to honey, you could just place another backwards loom, whichever you would prefer. I'm going to use the beehive, and on top of that beehive, we're going to have 2 more bookshelves. Go ahead and place a lectern just to the left of this beehive, or loom if you're using that instead. And to the left again, we're going to have an upside down oak stair. Go ahead and place down 2 signs in front of those blocks. You're going to have to crouch when you place it on the lectern. And then we're going to grab 2 spruce trapdoors, and from this bookshelf we're just going to place 2 across like that as some shelves to place a barrel and also a lantern on top of. Now we just kind of need to smooth out the outline here, so to do that we're just going to place in 3 spruce trapdoors either side, folded upwards just like so, and then we're going to have some more on top. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. We just need to add a couple of details for the actual desk here, so we're going to have a book and quill on the lantern and an item frame with a feather inside. Just give it a little rotate maybe. That should be good. And last but not least, we of course need a chair, so 1 block away in front of the lectern here, we're going to have a spruce stair with a spruce sign either side of it. And just like that, we're all done with the corner study. Next up is going to be the bunk bed, so to start that off we need to add in 2 spruce planks with 2 ladders in front, and then just to the right hand side we're going to have 2 spruce trapdoors coming off of that top block. On the bottom level here we can go ahead and add in our bed with the head of the bed just being underneath this far trapdoor, and the top bed you can place it on this trapdoor block so the pillow is just in front or above the ladder. Then we just need to cover up the sides, so we're just going to have 1, 2, 3 on either side, just like that. And something I should mention about this bunk bed is that it's actually usable, unlike a lot of other bunk beds nowadays. There'll usually be something here blocking the spawning spot, so if you die, you will in fact be able to respawn back on this trapdoor. So make sure you leave that empty. The final thing to do is just break these 2 blocks behind the bed in the wall, and then this one we're going to have a barrel and we're just going to stick a flower pot on top. Of course, yours probably won't be like this, but if you do have an empty space behind it, just go ahead and fill it in with the same block. So we've just built the bunk bed. I suppose it makes sense now to build the single bed. So what we're going to do is come to our wall here and we're just going to place down 2 sideways barrels facing into each other with a 1 block gap in between. So on the outside we should have the back texture, and we're just going to go ahead and add some details to them right now. So we're going to have an item frame placed on the back of them and a button on the block. So on the barrel, not in the item frame itself. Of course, crouch when you do that and place it on there, so it should be nice and big inside of the item frame, and you want to do that on both of the sides. Now we need to get another upside down barrel in this position, but we don't want the top texture, we want the upside down texture. So we're just going to place a temporary spruce trapdoor here, and we're going to flip it open when we're stood next to it, and now we get put into swim mode. So we can just gradually inch our way round and then crouch when you do that, place in the barrel just like that on the corner of the block, and as you can see we now have an upside down barrel in the center. I'm just a big fan of this texture, I think it looks very nice. Then in front of that barrel we can place in our bed. Of course any color is absolutely fine. 2 oak stairs either side of it with 2 oak trapdoors in front of those stairs. Then we can just hop up here and we're going to place in 2 spruce trapdoors and flip them open just like that. 2 more trapdoors here with a spruce slab in the middle, and underneath we can have ourselves a bell for a very loud alarm clock. Now we're going to move on to the set of drawers, which for this example is going to be made out of birch, but of course you don't have to stick to birch, you can use a different wood type, it's entirely up to you. I'm just showing you how to build the drawers themselves, and you can switch out the blocks if you would like to. So we're going to start off with 2 full blocks just like that, with 2 item frames on the front, and 2 spruce trapdoors inside of them. And then when we place the birch signs on the blocks themselves, you can see the trapdoors kind of stick out a little bit and it just looks like drawer handles. Then what we can do is add in 2 birch trapdoors on either side, and you could even expand this upwards if you wanted to, kind of just repeat the same thing, go as high as you want, maybe make it a bit staggered, something like that. But for this example, we're just going to make it 2 blocks wide and 1 block high. So we just want to add some details on top of here, flower pots on the left, and 2 or maybe 3 cyan candles on the right. Of course, if you don't have access to candles, a lantern is absolutely fine too. Last but not least, we have the wardrobe design, which I've purposely left till last because it's a little bit more finicky than the rest of these. Don't let it discourage you, it's not too bad, it just requires some piston pushing and some fishing. It'll all make sense eventually, but don't worry, it's not too difficult, just follow along closely. So the first thing we're going to do is place a front-facing barrel here, with an armor stand just to the side of it. Then we're going to face that armor stand and crouch and place down 2 spruce trapdoors and open them up just like that. We can now go ahead and place another armor stand on top of this barrel. Now what we need to do is come to the left hand side here, and just on this block to the side of this armor stand, place down 3 spruce trapdoors and open them up just like that. Next up, we're going to go ahead and place a piston down on this block right here in the center, just above those trapdoors, with a trapdoor underneath the piston, and we just want to power it and push it down just like that. Just flick that trapdoor back. We can get rid of the piston and the button. This allows us to basically push a trapdoor inside of the armor stand. As you can see, it's sort of done here, but that means we can go ahead and place something on top of it. So we're going to stick a flower pot right there. Next up, we can go ahead and just on top of the flower pot here, place a spruce trapdoor with 1 more to the side of it like this. And then what we can do is add in 1, 2, and 3 spruce trapdoors on the right hand side here. So this looks pretty good, right? But it's not perfect. This armor stand is not in the center, unlike this one is. So we are gonna fish it over by a couple of pixels. For those who don't know, you can actually hook armor stands with a fishing rod. I need to actually replace that, otherwise it's going to ruin everything. So we've got our armor stand in position, not symmetrical. So what we're going to do is just open up that trapdoor, and we'll actually just get rid of that one for now. It's going to make this a little bit easier. So if you just throw your fishing line so it hooks onto the armor stand like that, and hop up here on the trapdoor. Now try and get yourself in line with the armor stand so your cursor is kind of in the center of it. And you're going to line yourself up with that first pixel on the barrel. So you should be 1 pixel, 2 pixels away from the plates here. And you're just going to give it a little tug like that. Then we can place back our spruce trapdoor and close them back up. And as you can see now, that is pretty much spot on center, or at least as close as we're going to get to the gap that we've made here. Of course, the last thing to do is to place some armor on top of your armor stands. I would recommend potentially leaving this bottom armor stand without a helmet on, because as you can see here, it kind of just goes into the trapdoor. It doesn't look awful. You could honestly do either. It's sort of up to you, whichever you think looks better. But go ahead, place some armor stands here, make it look nice and colorful. So those are the 5 bedroom decorations all done. As I mentioned at the start of the video, I do have a couple more to show you that are much smaller than what we made here. And these are already pretty small in themselves. These are the super simple ones that I do quite a lot with my interiors, so I thought it was worth mentioning. The first one is using spruce trapdoors, or any trapdoor for that fact. It doesn't have to be spruce, they're just my personal favorites, as shelves. Very simply, just placing them on the wall like this, making sure they're on the top of the block, not on the bottom of the block. And you'll be able to tell that because you won't be able to place something on top of it if it's not in the right position. So maybe you could use these for some storage up on the wall, just something like that, or even switch it out and just put some decorative stuff like a dragon head and an amethyst cluster, for example. I think I'm going to go on the decorative side of things for this example. Looks pretty good. Those on the bottom left, by the way, are turtle eggs, in case you are wondering. The final thing I have to show you in this video is what I'm currently stood on top of, which is, in fact, a rug. Yep, a rug. You know why rugs are so great? They're a wonderful filler build. Now, quite often when you're doing interiors, most of the builds will be placed up against the wall, just like all of the ones I've shown you in this video. But quite often you'll have some open floor space to build something in that isn't pressed up against a wall. Rugs are perfect for that, or carpets, whatever you want to call them. So if you have an open spot and you're not sure what to build there, just slap a rug down. That's what I do anyway. And of course, they don't have to be any certain size or shape or color. You can do whatever you want with it, really. If you want to use just one wall block, that is absolutely fine. Or if you want to use all 16, that's fine too. Make a real abstract looking rug. That would be maybe a bit too much on the eyes. But the point I'm trying to get is, you can do whatever you want with rugs. There's no certain way to build them, but they are a really good thing to fill in space and make your room not feel so empty. Oh, and one final thing before we go here. Paintings. Paintings are great. If you got open wall space and you're not sure what to fill it in with, just slap a painting down like that. Maybe have some big ones or possibly some smaller ones. What you can even do is, if I just replace this one, you can make sort of a combination of lots of different paintings. So maybe have like a 2 wide one here, then we can have a 2 by 2 one here, and maybe 2 small ones at the bottom, preferably not the same painting. So you could do something like that, or like we had earlier, just one big one to fill in the open space. So there we go, everybody. That's going to do it for today's video. I really hope you've enjoyed and it's helped you out. Thank you ever so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.